Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to our zoology online class. Hope you are very happy. In the last class, we studied two important 5 mark questions: Urey and Miller experiments, and the second question, evidence for the biological evolution. So these two are the important 5 mark questions we have studied in the last class, and we studied some 2 mark and 3 mark questions also. Okay. Hope you all studied these question answers. Okay, my dear students. Today we are going to study about the next topic, the theories of biological evolution. Okay, already we have studied in the beginning of this lesson, we studied about the theories of evolution. So today we are going to study about some theories explaining about the theory about the biological evolutions. Okay, so listen very carefully. Our first theory is called Lamarck's theory. Okay, our first theory is called Lamarck theory. So this Lamarck's theory is otherwise called Lamarckism. Okay, Lamarck's theory is always called Lamarckism. Then this theory was introduced by one naturalist. His name is Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck. Okay, so this person only first explained this Lamarckism theory. And in the year of 1809, he published one book. This Lamarck published one book. Name of that book is called Philosophy Zoologique. Okay, so Philosophy Zoologique is the book published by Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck in the year of 1809. So it's a very important 1 mark question. Okay, so in this book, Philosophy Zoologique, this Lamarck explained about the biological evolution, how the living organism origin in the world. So he explained detailing all the evolution of the living organism in his book, Philosophy Zoology. Okay. Now we are going to study about two important principles of this Lamarck's theory. Okay. The first principle is called theory of use and disuse, and the second principle is called theory of inheritance of acquired character. So there are many principles are there in Lamarckism theory, but these two principles, theory of use and disuse and the theory of inheritance of acquired character, these two are the very important principles explained by Jean-Baptiste Lamarck in his book Philosophy Zoology. So now we are going to study about these two principles. The first principle is theory of use and disuse. See, according to this principle or according to this Lamarckism theory, when an organism using a particular organ properly, that organ is increased in its size. Once again repeat, when an organ is used properly, that organ is increased in size. At the same time, if an organism is not using one organ properly, that organ is automatically disappear from the body. Okay, so this principle is called the theory of use and disuse. So once I repeat this principle, when an organ is properly used for more time, that organ is increased in its size. When an organ is not used properly, that organ is automatically disappeared from the body of the organism. Understand a few? So here he explained he has given two important examples. One example is for the use theory, a use principle, and the second example is for the disuse principle. Okay, for the useful principle, he used the giraffe species. You all know giraffe is a very tallest organism. Okay, so according to the Lamarckism theory, once upon a time the giraffe species were very small. Okay, once upon a time the giraffe species is like an ordinary animals. Okay, so he tried to eat the leaves of the big trees by jumping. Okay, so here they use their neck and the front legs for jumping purpose. So generation after generation, or during the course of time, automatically the size of the front leg and size of the neck is increased. Okay, so for the use principle, he used the example, the evolution of giraffe species. And for the disuse theory principle, he used the snakes. Once upon a time, the snake had legs. Okay, so with the help of the legs only, they moved from one place to another place. But the snakes not used their legs properly, so during the course of time or automatically after generation, the legs is automatically disappear from the body of the snakes. Understand a few? Understand? So now we completed the first principle, use and disuse. Theory of use and disuse. So once again repeat the meaning. The first one is when a organism using their body organ properly, that organ is increasing in its size. At the same time, if organ is not used properly, that organ is disappeared from the body. Hope you understood that. Second one is theories of inheritance of acquired characters. See, here some organisms are receiving new characters during their lifetime. So these characters are called acquired characters. These characters are called acquired characters, and these characters are inherited. That means these characters are transmitted from one generation to next generation. Okay, so the characters that are received or appeared or developed during the lifetime of an organism is called acquired characters, and these characters are automatically transmitted to the next generation. Understand a few? So now we completed the two important principles of this Lamarckism theory. Okay, hope you understood that. Next one, see, objections to this Lamarckism theory. The Lamarckism theory was not accepted by some people. Okay, some people said some objection to this Lamarckism. Okay, so one important person, August Weismann. Okay, August Weismann, this person disproved this theory of inheritance of acquired characters. So theory of inheritance of acquired characters meaning the characters, okay, the some characters are transmitted from one generation to next generation. And according to this Lamarckism theory, when an organ is used properly, that organ is increasing in size. But when an organ is not used properly, this organ is disappeared from the body. So this is said by this Lamarckism theory. But this August Weismann, this person is objecting this theory or disproving this use and disuse theory by using an experiment with the help of a set of mice. Okay, with the help of a set of mice, he disproved this use and disuse theory. See, first he took a set of mice. He cut the tail of the both mice and he allowed them to reproduce. The next generation they produced some young ones. Then he cut the tails of these young rats also, young mice also. Okay, again after they are growing, they are also allowed to reproduce. Like that 20 generation he cut the tail of all the newborn rats. Okay. Now, according to Lamarckism theory, when an organ is not used properly, that organ is automatically disappear from the body. This is said by the Lamarckism theory. But here, he never, this August Weismann, this person never observed any rat without tail. That means all the rats born with tail. But here, from the first generation itself, he cut the tail. Okay, 20 generations continuously he cut the tail. So the tail is here not used properly. So according to Lamarckism theory, the tail should automatically disappear from the body. But here all the mice had tail. Understand a few? So he not accepted, August Weismann not accepted this Lamarckism theory. Understand a few? Then. So now we completed the first theory, Lamarck theory or Lamarckism theory, and the second one is Neo-Lamarckism. Neo-Lamarckism meaning some people, some naturalists accepted this Lamarckism theory. For example, Hope, Osborn, then Packer. So like these persons, okay, like these many people observed and supported the Lamarckism theory. See, according to this Neo-Lamarckism theory, adaptation is a universal character. That means every living organism is having some adaptation power. Then, according to this theory, the organism getting or receiving some new character due to the changed environmental conditions. That means if any changes occur in the surrounding place, the organisms which are living in that place getting some new characters. Okay, this is said by this Neo-Lamarckism theory. Understand a few? Then, because of these environmental changes, The somatic cells of, that means the body cells of the organism is stimulated. The somatic cells or the body cells of the organism is stimulated. So when the body cell is stimulated, immediately they produce some secretions. They release some secretions. These secretions are transmitted through the blood. Finally, it is reaching the sex cells. After reaching the sex cells, these secretions automatically transmitted to the next generation. Automatically transmitted to the next generation. Understand a few? So once again repeat, this neo-Lamarckism, a group of people accepted and supported the Lamarck's theory. So that people togetherly introduced one theory. That theory is called neo-Lamarckism theory. Then the first point about this neo-Lamarckism theory is, according to this theory, the adaptations are the universal characters. Every organism getting some adaptation power or new character because of the changed environmental condition. Then the next point, if any changes occur in the environment or surrounding place, some secretions or the somatic cells are stimulated. So the somatic cells producing some secretions, that secretions are automatically transmitted to the sex cells through the blood. From the sex cell, they are transmitted to the next generations. So the next born progenies or the young ones get some variations in their body, get some differences in their body. Hope you understood about this neo-Lamarckism theory. So now we have completed two important theories. The third theory is called Darwin's theory of natural selection, otherwise called Darwinism. Okay, Darwin's theory of natural selection, otherwise called Darwinism. So this Darwinism theory was introduced by Charles Darwin. And he also has written one book, published one book. Name of the book is called Origin of Species by Natural Selection. So Origin of Species by Natural Selection is the book published by Charles Darwin. So a very important 1 mark question. So in this book, he explained the evolution of various living organisms. Okay, the evolutions of various living organisms. Listen very carefully. See, and Darwin visited so many places in the earth. Okay, so when he reach any or visit any places, immediately he will do some experiment and he observe the characters of the plants and animals of that place. Okay, so he observed the characters of the plants and animals that are living in different parts of the earth. Okay, so those are different areas of the earth. Okay, so according to his observations, he observed some similarities in the characters of the living organism. Okay, that means he observed some similar characters in some living organisms. He observed some similar characters in the living organism. Understand a few? Then these organisms the plants and these organisms are receiving these characters because of some changes in the environmental conditions. Because of some changes in the environmental condition. Okay, then some organisms having some superpower, that means having some adaptation power. So with the help of these adaptation powers, that organisms can face their problems. Organisms can face their problems. So that organisms can live as a fittest organisms. That organism can live as a fittest organism. So according to this Darwinism theory, the fittest organisms only can live in the world. And these organisms only can produce many progenies, many young ones, than the unfit organisms. Understand a few? Then Darwin published this theory or introduced this theory by using some facts or by using some elements. Understand a few? So now we are going to study about all these elements one by one. Listen very carefully. The first fact of this Darwinism theory is overproduction. Okay, overproduction. So the first fact of this Darwinism theory is overproduction. See, all the living organisms increasing their population by different types of reproduction process. Okay, so all the living organisms increasing their populations by different by some types of reproduction process. But the reproduction capacity of the organism is differ from one organism to another organism. For example, salmon fish. The salmon fish can produce 28 millions of eggs in one reproductive season or one breeding seasons. Listen very carefully. The reproduction capacity of the living organism is different from one organism to another organism. Understand a few? So some organism producing less number of young ones, some organism producing high number of young ones. Here salmon fish is the example for the highest reproduction capacity animal. So it can produce 28 millions of eggs in one reproductive season. So if all these 28 millions of eggs are hatched, the entire sea is covered with what? Young salmon fishes. Then second, elephant is the slowest breeder. Elephant can produce only 6 young ones during their lifetime. The elephant started to reproduce the young ones from the age of 30. Till 90 years only it can what? Produce their young ones. So the elephant can produce only 6 young ones. So overproduction is the first fact in Darwinism theory. The second fact is called the struggle for existence. Second one is struggle for existence. In Tamil we can say Valkai Porata. See, all the organisms are struggling, are facing many problems. Okay, every living organisms are struggling for food, living place, and also for mating, that means reproductions. And the struggles are differentiated or classified into 3 types. One is intra-specific struggle, second one is interspecific struggle, and the third one is struggle for environment. So here intra-specific struggle meaning the struggle or competition between the members of a same species. Between the members of a same species is called intraspecific struggle. Understand a few? Then interspecific struggle, meaning the struggle or competition between the members of 2 different species is called interspecific struggle. And the third one is struggle for environment. Example, the living organisms are struggling to face the overflood or over drought or over earthquake. Okay, so like these environmental factors affecting the life of the organisms. Understand a few? So maximum struggle is for many purposes. Example, for food or reproduction or living place. So the second fact of this Darwinism theory is struggle for existence. Understand a few? Then the third one is called universal occurrence of variations. Universal occurrence of variation. Already I told you variations is one of the universal characters. Okay, universal characters. See, because of these variations, no 2 individuals are alike. We can see some differences even in the identical traits. Even in the identical source. So every organism showing some variations or showing some differences in their external appearance or internal structure or in their characters or in their behaviors. Understand a few? So some organisms, for example, children born to a same parents. Okay, the children born to a same parents also sometimes are not similar in their characters, their height, their color, okay, then behavior, everything. We can see so many changes in the characters, height, behaviors, everything. Understand a few? So variations is also a universal characters. Understand a few? Then some useful variations only transmitted from one generation to next generation. Understand a few? So the nature select only the useful variations, and these useful variations are transmitted from one generation to next generation. Okay, and these useful variations are highly supporting the organism to live as a successful organism. Okay, helping the organism to live as a successful organisms. Understand a few? So various universal occurrence of variation is the third fact in the Darwinism theory. Understand a few? Then the fourth one is origin of species by natural selection. Origin of species by natural selection. See, according to this theory, nature is the suitable selective force. It's a powerful selective force. Okay, so according to this fact or this element, the organisms which are having the adaptation power can face their problem and they can live as a fittest organisms. And they can live as a fittest organism. And that organism became adapted to changed environment. That organism can live in the changed environment also. So these are the four important facts or elements of the Darwinism theory or Darwin's theory. Understand a few there. Now we are going to study about the objections. A very important 3-mark question. Objection to this Darwinism theory. Objection to this Darwinism theory. See, the first one is Darwin clearly explained about the variations, but he did not explain about the mechanism of variation. That means he didn't explain how the variations are occurring in the body of the living organism. So simply he explained the variations, but he failed to explain the mechanism of variations. Okay, so this is the first objection to this Darwinism theory. Then, second one is he explained about the survival of fittest. That means the fittest organisms only can live in the world, in the earth. Okay, so he explained about the survival of the fittest, but he didn't explain the arrival of fittest. That means how this fittest organism arrived. He didn't explain this fact. So the second objection to this Darwinism theory is he explained about the survival of fittest, but he didn't explain the arrival of fittest. Understand a few? Then third one is his theory focused about the small variations, but actually the small variations are not inherited, not transmitted from one generation to next generation. So this is the third objection to this Darwinism theory. Understand a few? Then the fourth one is he didn't differentiate the somatoplasm from the germplasm. Here somatoplasm means the changes or the explain about the body cells. Germplasm means explaining about the sex cells. So he didn't explain or he failed to explain the difference between this somatoplasm and germplasm. Listen a few. Then the last one is he didn't explain the over-specialization characters. See, according to this Darwinism theory, the organisms are having the adaptive power. Okay, or superpower only can live as a successful organism, because that organisms only can face their problem. Okay, this is said by Darwin in his Darwinism theory, but he didn't explain the mechanism of this over specialization. For example, the development of very long tusk in the mammoth elephant. Tusk is in mammoth elephant, the tusk is very big. So with the help of this tusk, they can face all the problem and they can live as a fittest organism. But the mammoth elephant already extinct from the world, disappeared from the world because of the presence. Okay, and in spite of the presence of these characters, they are already extinct or disappeared. Must have you then. Next one example, oversized antlers. Okay, this oversized antlers we can see in the Irish deer. So this is one of the very big weapons. So with the help of this, with the help of these antlers, these Irish deer can face all the problems. They can face their enemies. Okay, but this Irish deer also extinct, already disappeared. So now we have completed or we have studied some objection to Darwinism theory. Hope you are understood. So now we have completed, what are the theories we have completed? Lamarckism, Neo-Lamarckism, Darwinism. Understand a few? Then here objection to this Darwinism is very important for 3-mark question. Then the next theory is called Neo-Darwinism. See, a group of Darwin's theory also not accepted by some naturalists, but a group of scientists or naturalists believed and accepted and supported the Darwinism theory. So they togetherly introduced or prepared a theory. That theory is called Neo-Darwinism theory. So this neo-Darwinism theory is supporting to the Darwinism theory. And a group of people already told example Wallace, Haeckel and Weizmann. So like this, some people togetherly introduced this Darwinism theory by doing some modifications in the Darwinism theory, by using some new facts, by using some new discoveries. They did some modification in the Darwinism theory. Understand a few? Understand? So that theory is called Neo-Darwinism theory. That theory is called Neo-Darwinism theory. Understand a few? Then, according to this theory, changes in the frequency, gene frequency in a population is due to some factors. The factors may be mutations or variations or isolations. So because of some factors like mutations, variations and isolation, some changes takes place in the gene frequency of a population. Understand a few? Understand a few? Then, finally, we are going to study about the last theory, mutation theory. This mutation theory was introduced or proposed by one naturalist. His name is Hugo de Varis. Hugo de Varis. And according to this theory, mutation theory, see, mutation is one of the important characters. Mutation is a sudden change occurring in every living organism's body. Mutation meaning is a sudden change occurring in every living organism body, and he explained, Hugo de Varis, this person explained this mutation theory by doing one experiment. He used one plant, evening primrose plant. Okay, so by using the evening primrose plant, he did one experiment to publish this mutation theory. And he observed there are different varieties of this evening primrose plant, and all these varieties are due to mutation. Due to mutations. Understand a few? Then, now we are going to study about the 1, 2 and 3 mark question, the salient features of this mutation theory. Salient features of this mutation theory. See, according to this theory, the sudden and large variations only are responsible for the new species, responsible for the formation of new species. So, mutation theory says the sudden and large variations only are responsible for the formation or development of new species. But according to Lamarck and Darwin, the gradual variations, okay, the slow variations only are responsible for the development of new species. Understand a few? Understand? Then listen very carefully. The first salient features of this mutation theory is mutation is transmitted from one generation to next generation. The first salient features. Then the second one is in a naturally breeding organism or naturally breeding species, mutation occur from time to time. The correct time, automatically the mutation is happening in a naturally reproducing organism or naturally producing organisms. Understand? And mutations are fully fledged. That means there is no intermediate forms are present. Understand? Then the last one is mutation is involved in natural selection or subjected to natural selection. Understand a few? So now we have completed the one important 3 mark question, the salient features of mutation. What are the salient features now we studied? The first one is mutations or discontinuous changes are transmitted from generation to generation, and the second one is this the second one is in a naturally breeding organism or naturally reproducing organism, mutation occur in time to time, from time to time, and mutations are fully fledged. Then the last one is these mutations are subjected to natural selections. Understand, my dear students? So I hope you all clearly understood today's topic. So today we have studied some theories. The first theory is Lamarck's theory, that is called Lamarckism. Second theory is Neo-Lamarckism. Third one is Darwinism, and the fourth one is Neo-Darwinism. And finally we have studied the mutation theory. So today we have completed 5 important theories. Understand? Many 2 mark questions, 3 mark questions, and 5 mark questions also there. 1 mark question, many 1 mark questions also there. For example, 1 mark question, the book published by D. Lamarck, or the book published by, what is the name of the book published by Darwin. Okay, like that, some 1 mark questions also there. So try to complete today's lesson and send the answer to me. The next class will meet you. Thank you.